What's up, guys? Welcome back to ancientbloodlineoflight. This is Giovanni here. So this topic is about gang stalking and dealing with agents, and I guess you could say psychic vampires are somewhat in that same category in a way. Now we deal with like psychic vampires a lot, and in our everyday lives, maybe some, maybe, but actually, I want to like rephrase that because there's very specific when it comes to psychic vampires and narcissism. So now, when dealing with psychic vampires, they're actually narcissists per se. So not really the same thing, but narcissists just happen to be feeding on your prana. Now, excuse me, justice. All right, so. Now, because there's psychic vampires who actually don't have intentions of harming, they're just individuals who actually need to feed on energy, but they don't have any narcissistic traits. Like, they don't really want to like cause any harm in anybody's lives. The same thing goes with chaotic vampires, who they technically like transmute negative energies into something positive. Like, for example, if there was like a car accident, they automatically naturally transmit these energies whether they are conscious of that or not, and then they turn to positive where they project that out to other people around to feel more calm and to handle the situation better. Or like if you could be like a police officer or a EMT or ambulance, and you're a chaos vampire, and then you transmute these energies, and you're able to project that positive energy so you can help the person who was in need. So chaotic vampires, psychic vampires in general, are just natural alchemists. Now, basically, what else I want to say is, now obviously narcissists do have bad intent. Some may not realize it. Some do, but like they can make a statement that come off like passive aggressive, but they're not gonna always be aware of the things that they say that could be hurtful or whatnot. So sometimes it's also another good thing not to react. Besides, not reacting to be get your energy fed on, or for them to like, keep pushing. Although we all know that somewhere, like if you don't react, especially if they do something that could cause harm and you handle that well, it motivates them. It makes them more determined to get a reaction out of you, and then they just keep pushing. Which is unfortunate. Now, it sounds like a bunch of agents. Like, for example, people who seem like you're just vibing high. As light bearers, I just say other than light worker, because in my opinion, light worker is kind of overrated. But you could call it whatever you want. I'm not judging. So, as a light bearer, your vibrations are just like naturally high. You're just having a really good day, and this is why within a higher conscious state, I also prepare myself of dealing with any agents or psychic vampires who just right around the corner, who just wants to ruin that. It could be somebody who randomly just walk up to you and make a statement that may kind of throw you off your game, or it could, unfortunately, an agent could be like a family member, or a boss, a co-worker, or someone, or maybe some random customer, or your spouse, or a significant other. Now, here's some examples like how agents are. People can be, you could be like just minding your business and you're just having a great day, and then say like you're at a store, you just grab something, and then someone just like kind of in your way, you're in the aisle, you're trying to get by, and then you're like, okay, say excuse me, okay, so excuse me, I'm just trying to get by, and this person like maybe bumps your cart or gives you a mean look, or say something like trying to make it seem like you're being an asshole whether you're not, and then they probably put your hands on you and just block your path and be like, oh, you should say excuse me, even though you actually have loud and clear. And just people who just drawn to your light to screw with you. So it's not just like good people who are drawn to your light, it's also these people. So you're like moths to a flame. Now, there's some other ways that people could be like agents where it just kind of like throws you off a bit. And for example, a couple years ago, I was volunteering at ConnectiCon, a Comic Con that's in Connecticut. So Judith Hogue, the original April O'Neil in the Ninja Turtles movie, she went to the bathroom with another volunteer who escorted her there, so they had me sit at her table until she got back. Now I'm just sitting there, and some random kid comes up and is like, "You're not Judith Hogue?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, she went to the bathroom, but she'll be back in the field." And he's like, "Oh, look at you sitting at the table." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't react. I was just like, I just made a sarcastic joke about it. Like, well, I don't remember what I said. Something like, well, it's fun to sit in for people until they come back or something like that. And he said something else. I don't remember because I was like 5.5 years ago. And then I just smiled at him and laughed. And then he just walked away. And I just kept smiling. And, you know, it can bug them that you don't react. And it's just, you know, that's the type of things that you deal with. You know, it's like you have to like keep your vibe high and just stay balanced, stay grounded, and just not react, or, you know, stay in the present moment and just, you know, let it swirl through you. Like Eckhart Tolle explained in his book, The Power Now, like, you know, when you're present and then you're dealing with a situation with someone, a negative situation, and, you know, they try to instigate whatnot, whereas a confrontation, you're just being present, and any insults, whatnot, it just like flows through you, like you're transparent. And that is true based on many experiences, you know, before even reading that book and out there. So it made a lot of sense. Now, it could be like other things that may not be direct. Like, for example, back in freshman year in high school, like, it was just so weird, me being like the quiet guy and just obviously, you know, stand out as in, I guess you could say, the main character. You know, just a lot of people who are just like everyone else, and you're just not like everyone else. You're like the wolf amongst sheep. So, every time I went up to somebody, like, we're in the hallways and people are transferred to the next classes on schedule or heading to lunch or whatnot, and I just go to someone and I just want to like talk to them or to know somebody, and then people all around would stop and stare. Like, it's a freaking movie, like a Twilight Zone or something. Like, what the F are you staring at? Like, it messed with my anxiety, and then I start stuttering, and then I just don't want to talk to someone. But I just keep going, I keep pushing, and I push myself to I'm just trying to ignore them, and it's just weird. And it happened like multiple times, so it's not just one time that happened. So then I try to be like, you know, I try to like have the person step aside with me, but I don't want to seem weird. But then people would just stare, and even when they go into another hallway, people would just stop and stare. Like, why aren't you proceeding to your classes? Why are you stopping staring? Mind your own business. What the F? Like, why are you, like, everybody else is having a conversation, but not, why are you stopping staring at them? But why, what about me that made you stop and stare? Like, what the F? And it's weird. It's like, it's weird. Now, gang stalking, I heard a lot of people heard about this. It's something that's really well known. There's a lot of people out there who they claim that have the Rh negative blood type who do gang stalking. Now, I think I met one person who does not have the Rh negative blood who dealt with gang stalking, and it just comes off like a bit crazy, that to the point that people may not believe it's happening, like to you or somebody you know, or whatever. And because it's ridiculous what they do. Like, they say that, oh, okay, so this person was like in my freaking tree, like with binoculars, staring into my house, or following me, or some people were like just watching me, and everyone just like watching, and I seen this person like telling this person to come up to me and do something or say something, and I tried to explain to the police or somebody, and they just didn't believe it. It's how crazy it sounds, and unfortunately it gets to the point where people just lose it. And there were some cases where people had committed suicide because of this, because they didn't stop, because it kept affecting them for years. They didn't know who to turn, who to believe them. Now, excuse me, that sucks, and that's how ridiculous it is. Like, it's like they just want a reaction on you. They just want to feel on that. And it's like, you know, what my intake on that is, they just want to also keep you from remembering that you can manifest better outcomes. So manifest like this situation stopping. Like, they get you so caught up into their astral web that they want to make you forget who the fuck you are and fucking suffer it, who can fight back and then bring up a better outcome in your life. So, and honestly, that's what I did before I even understood manifesting completely, and I didn't know nothing about law of attraction. I just know that I could bring these to my reality. But like when I was younger, like, you know, I stopped all that happening. I stopped people stopping staring every time I interacted with somebody at school, and it's like, okay, so that stopped, and you know, I manifested even better outcomes, like make some friends. Like I didn't really interact with too many people. Some people don't really last in your life, regardless if you manifest friends, but that's okay. But yeah, I just want people to understand, like, you know, if you're dealing with gang stalking, then like manifest a better outcome. You don't understand manifesting, then you could definitely talk to me about that, or you can watch videos on that. And now some people who dealt with gang stalking may come off a bit off, but I would say maybe some people who are dealing with mental illness already, before they started to experience that, they target them just so, as you already know that person is like mentally ill, then they be like, okay, well, we're gonna screw this person. So they're not gonna believe them because they're already dealing with mental illness. So then they're gonna believe that, okay, then this person is hallucinating or just dealing with schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia to be specific. So they're not gonna believe them. But you know, that's one of the cases, and people don't understand like how this started, where it started. Maybe CIA experiment. I mean, you know, we know that the CIA ain't so pure. Who knows, maybe white hats have finally taken control of it last year, 2 years ago, from what someone had said, maybe not. But unfortunately, these things happen, and there could be cases where if you're dealing with an agent, not bad to agents. So, for example, if you're with somebody who, you know, you're in a relationship with, and there could be an agent who would screw with you and be like, they're just somebody who would just mess around with others, like behind your back, like cheat on you, and just to feed on your energy, to screw with you. And now maybe agents is the same as like a vampire, or maybe they're just people who have been taken over by astral vampires. Astral vampires are entities that would feed on you from the astral plane, and maybe astral vampires basically are like walk-ins per se. You'll walk into you know, someone's energetic field when they're being abused. Like say, like if you're a child, since children are more succeeded to possession, spiritual possession, so they're being abused. Astral vampires walk into that energetic field, and then that's how they become psychic vampires. Well, or like say narcissists. So now, still want to make that clear that psychic vampires not all are like narcissistic, but they just happen to have some same traits, except that narcissists have bad intentions and want to fuck with your life and whatever your emotional mental health. They want to mess with your emotional mental bodies. You know, where your emotional body is unbalanced and your mental body becomes unbalanced, and then that's where mental health issues occur. Until you know, learn how to observe your thoughts and get what you feel, instead of like any paranoias or emotions that can be too extreme, to the point that you could be well grounded and just observe it and not react to it. Then it can better your emotional health, and it betters your emotional body, which is a train reaction to better your mental body and mental health. Now, I'm not saying like, okay, it's a walk apart. All I can do is do this. Obviously, it's a battle, and people deal with a lot of things. And, you know, I'm not going to be like, well, why don't you do this or that? Obviously, you know, people have hard times with stuff, and not many understand that. I may not understand completely because I don't walk into a lot of people's shoes, even though I try to put myself in their shoes to understand from their perspective. But, you know, just, as you already know, just, you know, talk to somebody who you trust and who will understand and who you feel comfortable with, and who, you know, can really help you out. And, you know, spiritual practices are sometimes not to completely take something away, like mental health issues. It may not take it away completely, but spiritual practices can help you like handle it the best way instead of reacting to you may end up projecting that onto others. Now, obviously, it's not always intentionally, but someone who's a narcissist, I can't really speak for them, but there are those who don't mean it and don't want to hurt others. Now, can narcissists feel guilt and shame? Yes. Sociopaths also, being a sociopath is a product. You gotta read books and understand that psychopaths, on the other hand, it's genetics, you know, so, but maybe they can't feel shame or guilt. But, you know, emotions are real. We all have them. So to say that they don't have any shame or guilt is pretty redundant, in my opinion, my honest opinion and humble opinion. So anyways, if you have any like stories you want to tell, what it deals with agents that you can relate to, especially gang stalking, go ahead and throw it in the comments, you know. So I hope you guys are doing well. I wish you well, many blessings. Peace. Oh, and be sure to like button and subscribe.